Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 7, and this is going to be my review for Episode 5 for this season, otherwise entitled The Demon. But of course, before we get into the rest of the video, if you've not watched the episode, go watch it, then come back to this video later on, because we're going to be jumping into spoilers, and there's a pretty big spoiler in this episode. But if you are continuing on, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed today's episode of Arrow, just to show your support for the Arrow videos on the channel, and leave your various opinions on this episode in the comment section down below. I am very intrigued to see what everyone thought of this episode. The last episode was called Level 2, and as expected, we jumped into a lot of Level 2 stuff. So we had Oliver going through this process of him Dr. Parker trying to wash the Oliver Queen and wash the Green Arrow out of him. And this episode was, well, if succeeded, it would have completed that process completely, but we're still in level 2 for this episode. Now, obviously, last episode was a lot of future stuff. I think we all knew that this episode, they might take a step back on the future stuff, just because some big stuff happened last episode. So I'm guessing next episode we'll get more future storyline stuff, maybe. But we start off the episode by actually properly entering level 2. Like last episode was in that little cell, that lit up torture cell, if you want to call it. So in this episode, we actually get to properly enter there, and you notice straight away that it's a male and female population on level 2. Now, obviously, normally in like a prison, no matter what type of prison, even like a psychiatric facility for like prison type of thing, there wouldn't be a mixed population in regards to males and females. But obviously, this is slab side. They don't follow the rules, so I guess this is like a little contained area where they just chuck in males and females that need to be here, I guess. But that was one thing I noticed, and I think I even noticed it in my trailer breakdown for this episode. But in level 2, they have these like shock bracelets, which I guess are pretty handy. I guess especially with the people that would most likely be here that sort of need to be on level 2. So I guess that makes sense. And there's some cool uses for these shock bracelets, especially when they get maybe flipped on some certain people later on. But the big reveal of the episode, now we knew going into this season that there was going to be Brick, Bronze Tiger, and Derek Sampson. They were going to be 3 familiar faces in prison that Oliver had dealt with before, but there was also going to be a bonus familiar face, and it was going to be a big shock. Now we were all theorizing, was it going to be Adrian Chase and like hallucination? Was it going to be Roy Harper or something in present day? But this person was tossed up as an option. A lot of people were actually saying this. I don't think it was the most popular option, but it was definitely up there. And it was actually found out that Talia Al Ghul is in prison with Oliver. Now, we find out that she survived the island barely. She has like burns and like burn scarring, if you want to call it, on her face. Like not on the whole face, but like on like her forehead and like down like some of the side of her cheek and stuff. But she actually got through it by the help of Diaz's drugs, and she is that connection to Diaz. She is what people were calling the demon. Now, she like paired up with Brick basically to get Oliver down there. I guess you could say maybe the hype in regards to what the demon could do wasn't there, but it makes sense in regards to when you look back at everything, and it makes sense that she'd call herself the demon because she was, well, the heir to the demon. She's Ra's al Ghul's daughter because, well, she's Talia Al Ghul. Now, seeing Talia back was cool. Her and Oliver's back and forth was great. It's like one of my favorite parts of season 5, in regards to the flashbacks at least, were Oliver and Talia's back and forth and her training Oliver. Now, this is a completely different thing, them teaming up when Oliver's past that training and, has been a vigilante and the Green Arrow for numbers of years. So it was great to see them come back and team up in this sort of way. Now, Talia does say that she ended up in Slabside because she ran afoul of an old foe in Gotham. Gotham is mentioned in this episode, so obviously I guess we're meant to assume that's Batman that she ran afoul of. But yeah, there's no mention of Batman, but I think we're just left to go, okay, I see where you're going there. Now, speaking of Gotham, they did drop an Elseworlds sort of teaser during the ad breaks for Arrow this week. I might do a video on it. It was literally really short, but I still might do a video on it in like within the next 12 hours or something. So keep your eyes out for that if you're interested. And once again, on the whole Talia Oliver thing, it was interesting seeing Talia's attitude towards Oliver, because obviously Talia blames Oliver for killing her father and all that and some other things that happened and leaving her for dead on the island. But also it's important to remember that Talia sort of created Oliver by allowing him to embrace the monster within him, which allowed him to become the Hood or the Vigilante and then later on the Green Arrow. So it's sort of like, I wouldn't say she, Oliver says it as well. He doesn't blame her completely for him killing her father, but she sort of has a role in it. But Oliver still takes full responsibility of all of it. We did see Stanley telling Felicity what was going on because we'd seen Felicity in the trailer going to the visitation thing. We thought, okay, maybe a guy's just going to tell her that Oliver's just lost his visitation rights or he's dead or something like that. But obviously Stanley was there talking to his lawyer by the looks of it. Like, this dude had a briefcase, so I'm guessing it was his lawyer. Don't know if they'll come back into it. Who knows what's going on with Stanley specifically. But Stanley is the one that tells Felicity everything. And Felicity also tells Stanley to give a message to Oliver when he eventually or hopefully sees him, that Felicity has a lead on Diaz and is close to catching him. So that's not really a positive thing for Oliver because he's probably thinking in the back of his head like, oh, that's extremely dangerous. And the big side story for this episode, and I don't mean like in regards to, oh, it was amazing, but in regards to like the thing that was the side story that really had nothing to do with the rest of the plot was of course, Curtis and Diggle in the Argus storyline. At first, I was like, oh, okay, I really couldn't care for it. Like, some of the scenes were cool, especially the end scene when Curtis tricks him, like the booby trap gun comes up and kills them all. Sort of cool. The rest of it was a bit meh. Like, I really didn't focus too much when those scenes were on. But towards the end, like, you can see like there's maybe like a bigger storyline building with the whole like Lila thing and that painting where I think they called it was Dante. So obviously we're going to be getting like different clues pasted together. I'm wondering where it's all going to lead. Hopefully it leads to somewhere relevant. That's probably the key word to use, relevant to the show. Like, it can be an awesome storyline, but if it is just to give Curtis and Diggle something to do and it's not really relevant to everything else, and it just feels like it is a bit of a waste of time. But, you know, I'm willing to stick by it and just see how it goes. And, yeah. Now, the big team up in this episode you would think would be Oliver and Talia, but really when it comes down to it, it was probably Felicity and Laurel, because they are like, well, I wouldn't say they, you know, the chemistry isn't there in regards to their friendship and stuff. But Dinah does join them in like the hunt to figure out what's going on with Oliver in prison and certain things like that, which sees them jump into the SCPD archives. And as soon as I saw that, and I think the trailer as well as some promo images, I was thinking, yeah, like manual archives that aren't, you know, what would you call them? Just like paper or, you know, archives and stuff like that. Not going to be an easy thing going through there, so you can see some drama there as well. Now, I did see some people complain during the episode that Felicity was going over the top. Once again, they are just doing like sort of going to that next level with Felicity because it is Oliver, it's her husband, he's in prison, he could possibly die, so you have to understand why she'd be getting maybe a bit over the top in regards to emotions compared to the others, but that's because the others don't have that connection to Oliver like she does. Like Laurel might, but that was Earth 2 Oliver, not this Earth 1 Oliver. So you got to realize that Felicity has that higher emotional connection to everything that's going on here. So that's why she's just being maybe a bit over the top to some people. But speaking of the Oliver and Talia partner or partnership or team up, obviously Oliver wants to sort of like expose Dr. Parker and what's going on in what do you call it, in Slabside and stuff like that. And Talia just simply wants to escape prison. So that's like the sort of like the team up that they have, you know, they team up, do all of that, and then both of them get that reward, which sees them like, you know, purposely fight each other to get into that, like that, the relapse sort of thing and go to the next stage. And that's a really cool scene when Oliver just has like, you know, just absorbing that thing. And like, and Dr. Parker thought he succeeded with Oliver and stuff like that. And Oliver's just playing along with it. And the whole My Name is Oliver Queen thing was pretty cool. And then choke slams, I think he choke slams or whatever he does to Dr. Parker was pretty cool. But that prison break scene was really cool. That hallway scene with all those, you know, riot guards, if you want to call them, coming in was really, really cool. And as I think, I don't know who said it, was it Brick or someone that said the only way out of level 2 is through the morgue. And that's how Talia gets out. She goes down into the water through the morgue, which I thought was pretty cool. And, well, it relates back to previous things that was said on the show. Now, I did see a lot of people saying that, okay, this is where Oliver's going to break out of prison. I was thinking that to myself and I thought, look, it could have happened there and then. I understand why Oliver stayed because he would have been a fugitive. But also, there was also some stuff in prison that sort of would have felt like a waste of time if Oliver just escaped then, like the stuff with Stanley. Like I'm still unsure about Stanley. Let me know in the comment section down below, like, what's your overall opinion on Stanley? Do you trust him, or is he still a bit shifty? I'm still not 100% sure whether I should trust him or not. But yeah, I'll have to wait and see in regards to that, I guess. But if he had escaped then, there would have still been some like tapped into stuff in regards to prison, and also the outside world in regards to the storyline we're doing on the outside. Funnily enough, I don't think he's ready for Oliver to come out of prison. It sort of has to line up well and just, you know, fit in well. So I think, like, I don't know, we're up to episode 6 next week. A lot of people predicted that maybe episode 6 could be the episode he gets out. Have to wait and see. I know The trailer for the episode, I did see it. I only watched it once. I didn't really go into it too much detail. But I don't know if it's really saying I'm out of prison next week, but we'll have to wait and see. I'll probably say episode 7, but who knows? We could be in prison until the back half of the season. We'll have to wait and see. But all of it is back to level 1. Level 2 is being shut down because basically Slabside's getting exposed. But with all of that, Laurel, Felicity, and Donna, and I guess mainly Laurel because she's the whole DA in this situation and the legal side of things, are going to use that info from Slabside as like a leverage to try and get Oliver out of prison. So, look, that was one worry I was having. Is like, I hope it isn't some like legal thing in court that gets Oliver out of prison. I think it would have been cool if he broke out and he was a fugitive. But I don't know. I have to wait and see because vigilantes are still illegal in Star City. So once he gets out, will he go back to being Green Arrow anyway? I know. I have to wait and see. I think it would have been cool. Prison, have a whole prison break thing, but if he gets out through some legal battle, then fair enough. But you never know. They might do that. It's like maybe like a clickbait thing, like a bait and switch thing. And they do it and it fails. And then maybe the only option is to sort of break Oliver out of prison. But one scene I sort of wasn't expecting. I guess if you have the character in the episode, do something cool with her in a suit. But we see Talia in her the outfit that she always wore, kill Dr. Parker, like put the bracelet on him, shock him and all of that. And then just slice and dice him with her sword. Now, will Talia function into this back half of the season? Is she going to stay relevant, or is that just a cool scene and she's going to go back off to what she's doing? Was she just getting some revenge on Dr. Parker for doing some things to her, or is she going to pop up again later in the season? I wouldn't expect her in the next couple of episodes. We could, but you'd think she might just go off and do her own thing. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. It is important to remember that she would be a fugitive, but she was already like a bit of a, what would you call it? All over the joint. Like a nomad and just moving around. So I don't think that's really going to factor into it. I don't think it's as bad as with like Oliver Queen. If he gets released, people might be on his ass. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments. Do you think she'll show up again later this season? I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to say no if I had to choose yes or no, but I would like to see her back. But the final scene of the episode is Silencer and Diaz in Moscow of all places. And we're like, okay, why are they there? There's all these people on the ground. Diaz seems to just be killing people. And I was like, who's he got up in the air? And then you think about it, Moscow, oh, okay, it's Anatoly and it's Anatoly. So obviously Diaz wouldn't be happy with Anatoly because of what happened last season towards the end of it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next episode in regards to that. And yeah, I'm intrigued. But overall, I actually really enjoyed this episode. I don't think it was the best episode of the season, but the stuff in prison was awesome. Oliver and Talia teaming up. The stuff outside of prison with like the girls, the 3 girls teaming up was pretty cool as well. As I said, the Argus stuff, I really couldn't care for it at that time. It was still like okay to watch, but the overall storyline just really didn't grasp me. However, that tease with the painting and where it could possibly lead, as well as the Lila stuff from last episode, does sort of get me interested as to what they could do going forward. So yeah, I am, interested to see where it goes, but at the moment, not that intrigued. But yeah, overall, enjoyed the episode. Can't wait for next episode. The new Green Arrow, the fake Green Arrow is back in it, and I wonder if we get some more flash forward stuff as well. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below. What was your favorite part of the episode? What didn't you like too much? Just give me your overall thoughts on it in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.